In the age of digital love, swiping right may lead to more than just a chance at romance. Welcome to the dark secrets of Tinder. Tinder, a name that echoes in the corners of our digital world. A beacon for those in search of love, companionship, or even a simple conversation. An app that has bridged distances, breaking the geographical barriers that once limited our search for a perfect match. A global phenomenon that has transformed the way we look at dating. In the palm of your hand, you hold the power to connect with millions of users worldwide, all at the swipe of a thumb. A left or right swipe determines whether you meet your potential soulmate or a complete stranger. A simple yet potent tool, designed to bring hearts together. But what if I told you there's more to this digital Cupid than meets the eye? Behind the innocent facade of matching profiles lies a dark underbelly. A realm where the promise of love is often overshadowed by chilling realities. While Tinder was created with the noble intention of connecting people, its massive user base also attracts those with sinister motives. This platform, intended for love and connection, has been exploited by some to fulfill their dark desires. In the coming moments, we'll uncover the harrowing tales that have sprung from this digital labyrinth. Stories of deceit, of fear, and of lives forever scarred. We'll introduce you to the Tinder murderers, the cunning scammers, and the horrifying kidnappers. These are not tales conjured from fiction, but real-life accounts of individuals who fell prey to the dark side of swiping right. They serve as grim reminders that not every story that begins with a right swipe ends with a happily ever after. So, buckle up, as we navigate through the murky waters of this digital dating platform. We're about to venture into a realm where love is not always the end game, and swiping right can lead to unimaginable consequences. So, let's delve into these terrifying tales where swiping right turned horribly wrong. Our first case takes us to Sydney, Australia, where a young woman's quest for love ended in a horrifying tragedy. In the heart of Sydney lived a vibrant and cheerful woman named Sydney Loof. She was the embodiment of youth, full of life, and had a heart full of dreams. Her desire for companionship led her to the world of online dating, specifically the app known as Tinder. Like many others, Sydney believed the app to be a harmless platform to meet new people. Little did she know, it would become a stage for her tragic fate. She matched with a man who, beneath his charming profile, harbored dark intentions. Their first date seemed to go well, with Sydney even messaging a friend afterwards, expressing her excitement about the meetup. However, the second date would prove to be a stark contrast. Sydney was reported missing the next day after failing to show up at work. It was unlike her to not keep in touch, or to miss work without notice. The alarm bells started ringing, and a frantic search began. A deep dive into her recent activities led investigators to her last Tinder date. The man she met was no stranger to the criminal justice system. He was a convicted felon who had managed to conceal his dark past beneath the veneer of an appealing Tinder profile. Despite his criminal history, he was able to lure Sydney into a web of deceit, demonstrating the frightening ease with which predators can exploit the anonymity provided by online dating platforms. As the investigation unfolded, the grim reality set in. Sydney Loof had been brutally murdered. This shocking incident shook the world, casting a shadow over the seemingly innocent act of swiping right. It brought to light the potential dangers of online dating and the importance of exercising caution when connecting with strangers online. A simple swipe right led to a tragic end for Sydney, a grim reminder of the dangers lurking on the app. From Australia we move to London, where a charming man turned out to be a master scammer. Our story begins with Simon Leviev, a man who appeared as a diamond tycoon on his Tinder profile. Suave, affluent, and irresistibly charming, Simon was a catch. But beneath this veneer of sophistication lay a master manipulator and scammer. Simon's modus operandi was simple and effective. He'd match with women, woo them with grand gestures and promises of lavish lifestyles. He'd tell tales of his life as an international jet-setter filled with luxury and adventure. The women were swept off their feet, completely oblivious to the storm that was brewing. Simon would then weave a web of lies, claiming he was in danger, targeted by enemies due to his wealth. He would say he was on the run, unable to access his vast fortune. And then came the ask, a loan from his romantic interests to help him out of this pretense of a tight spot. And the women, smitten and concerned, handed over their savings, running into hundreds of thousands of dollars. They believed they were helping the man they were falling for, not realizing they were being played in an elaborate con game. It was only when the promises of repayment never materialized and Simon disappeared that the horrifying truth emerged. Simon Leviev was not a diamond tycoon, but a Tinder scammer. The lavish lifestyle, the danger, the need for money, all were a part of a well-constructed lie. Investigations revealed Simon's real identity, Shimon Hayut, a man with a history of fraud. The charming diamond tycoon was in fact a seasoned scammer who had swindled women across Europe. Simon's victims were left heartbroken and financially ruined. They had been lured into a false sense of security, their trust ruthlessly exploited. They had lost not just their money, but also their faith in love and humanity. Simon's victims were left heartbroken and financially ruined, all because of a deceptive Tinder profile. Our next case reveals how a seemingly harmless date turned into a terrifying ordeal. Imagine a woman from Massachusetts, let's call her Jane, who was excited about a date with a man she had met on Tinder. This digital platform designed for connection was about to become a stage for something far more sinister. Jane was an ordinary woman, working a 9-to-5 job and trying to navigate the world of online dating. She matched with a man who seemed charming, funny, and kind. They exchanged messages for a few weeks, and everything seemed perfect. So when he asked her out on a date, she agreed, excited and hopeful. On the day of their date, she got ready, putting on her favorite dress and a smile. Little did she know the man waiting for her had a different plan in mind. Instead of a romantic dinner, Jane found herself trapped, kidnapped by the very man she was supposed to be on a date with. She was held captive, her freedom stripped away by a man she had trusted, a man she had met on Tinder. Over the course of several days, Jane endured unimaginable fear and uncertainty. Her captor, the man from Tinder, had transformed from a charming potential partner to a terrifying reality. But Jane was resilient. She managed to escape and alert the authorities, leading to the man's arrest. Her ordeal was over, but the scars remained, a chilling reminder of the dangers that lurk within the seemingly harmless world of online dating. Her story serves as a stark warning to us all. Behind the charming profiles and witty banter, there can be individuals with malicious intent. It's a grim reality that we must acknowledge, not to live in fear, but to ensure our safety when navigating these digital landscapes. What was supposed to be a fun evening turned into a nightmare, further exposing the risks associated with Tinder. This is not to say that every Tinder date will end in disaster, but it is a reminder that we must always be cautious and vigilant. We must never forget that the person behind the screen may not always be who they claim to be. Sometimes the danger comes not from a single individual, but from a deadly duo. In this scene, we delve into the chilling case of the Tinder serial killers. A couple who used the popular dating app as a hunting ground for their heinous acts. This pair, a seemingly average man and woman, turned the innocent swiping game into a deadly trap. Meet the unsuspecting faces of evil, a case that shook the world and added a new level of fear to online dating. They were a couple, as ordinary as any other, who used the convenience and anonymity of Tinder to lure their prey. Their modus operandi was simple. They created an alluring profile, filled with deceptive photos and charming bios. Once they matched with a potential victim, they would engage them in friendly conversation, building trust and rapport. The victims, thinking they were meeting a potential partner, were none the wiser to the imminent danger. The couple would then arrange for a meeting, usually in a secluded place. Once there, the unsuspecting victim would be met, not by a potential partner, but by the couple who had murder on their minds. This is the point where a hopeful date night turns into an unimaginable nightmare. The couple's reign of terror continued for a while, leaving a trail of victims who had nothing in common but the tragic fate they met through a dating app. It wasn't until the diligent work of law enforcement, following a trail of digital breadcrumbs, that the couple were finally apprehended. This case serves as a stark reminder of the inherent risks that come with online dating. The convenience and ease of these platforms are a double-edged sword, as they can also provide a perfect cover for those with malevolent intentions. As we navigate the digital world, it's crucial to remember that not everyone we encounter has our best interests at heart. The digital realm provides a veil of anonymity that can easily be exploited by those with sinister intentions. This shocking case underlines the horrifying reality that anyone could be hiding behind a Tinder profile. Apart from these chilling cases, there are hidden dangers that every Tinder user should be aware of. Perhaps one of the most overlooked threats is the issue of data privacy. Tinder collects a staggering amount of information about its users. From your most swipe type to your location, your preferences, and even your conversations, all of this data is stored and often sold to third-party advertisers. Every swipe, every message, every moment of hesitation is a data point, contributing to a digital profile that's more revealing than any bio. Then there's the risk of stalking. With the app's location feature, it's frighteningly easy for someone with ill intentions to track your movements. Some people have reported instances where matches turned into stalkers, using the information provided on the app to find their home or workplace. It's a chilling reminder that every swipe right could potentially open the door to someone who doesn't respect boundaries. Next, let's talk about catfishing. This is when someone creates a fake profile to deceive others, often using someone else's pictures and inventing a completely different persona. While some people catfish for the thrill of it, others do it with malicious intent, such as to defraud or emotionally manipulate their matches. There are also lesser-known risks related to the use of Tinder. For instance, the algorithm of the app can potentially lead to self-esteem issues, as it bases its suggestions on an attractiveness index. This means the more right swipes you get, the more attractive you are deemed by the app. This can feed into a vicious cycle of validation and rejection, affecting users' mental health. In conclusion, while Tinder has revolutionized the world of online dating, it's not without its risks. From data privacy concerns to the threat of stalking, catfishing, and even psychological harm, these hidden dangers lurk beneath the surface of each swipe. These hidden threats may not make headlines, but they can cause significant harm to unwary users. As we've seen, the world of Tinder can be a dangerous place. Indeed, the allure of swiping right, the thrill of the match, the anticipation of a potential connection, all of these can sometimes obscure the darker realities that lurk beneath the surface. We've delved into the chilling facts, the hidden secrets, and the terrifying stories that have emerged from this popular dating platform, revealing an underbelly that might give anyone pause. Let's journey back through the narrative we've traced. We began with the dark side of swiping right, where we shone a light on the grim aspect of this seemingly benign action. The quick flick of a finger, the rush of validation, it can all too easily pave the path to danger. Then, we looked at the case studies. Real people, real stories. Remember the Tinder murder? A tragic example of how what starts as a promising connection can end in a horrifying loss. And the Tinder scammer, a chilling reminder of how easily trust can be manipulated and exploited for personal gain. The case of kidnapping on Tinder further underscored the potential threats that can exist behind a charming profile picture and a clever bio. We've also explored the chilling narrative of Tinder's scary killers, individuals who used the platform not for love or companionship, but as a hunting ground. And lastly, we uncovered the hidden secrets of Tinder, the lesser-known aspects of the platform that might make us think twice before swiping right. Yet amid all these dark realities, it's crucial to remember that there are steps we can take to protect ourselves. The first is always to be vigilant. Don't take everything at face value. A picture-perfect profile might hide a less-than-perfect individual. Trust your gut, and don't ignore red flags. Privacy is paramount. Limit the personal information you share up front. And remember, the block function is there for a reason. Don't hesitate to use it if someone makes you feel uncomfortable. Always meet in public places for the first few dates, and let someone know where you're going and who you're meeting. And of course, never feel pressured into anything you're not comfortable with. Your safety and comfort should always come first. And finally, don't forget the power of reporting. If you encounter suspicious or harmful behavior, report it to the platform and to local law enforcement. You could potentially save someone else from a dangerous situation. Remember, a swipe right might just change your life, but not always in the way you'd hope. Stay safe out there.